This is Meera Kanojia. She is a retired leading seaman from the Canadian Armed Forces. All right, okay, take it away, Meera.
Thank you, Tammy, for inviting me today. Hello and good afternoon, everyone. My journey started at the age of 6, grade 1, Miss Devono's class. It was early September, and she wanted to know one by one what we all wanted to be when we grew up. You had the typical answers: teacher, dentist, firefighter, nurse, doctor, police officer. Then my turn came up, and I stood up and I happily said I wanted to help people in my country. I didn't know what that meant, and the teacher never questioned me. We went on about our daily classroom work. At the end of the day, my mom came, picked me up, and my teacher addressed my mom and said what I had said, what I wanted to do when I grew up. My mom made nothing of it and said, oh, she probably meant police officer. She's caring, helpful type character. My mom and I started to walk home, and my mom said, do not let anyone discourage you or put you down. Doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl, big, small, whatever, you can achieve anything you want as long as you work hard, you stay humble and focused. I continued on with my studies. I was really good in athletics. I went on and did community service, like volunteer work. Fast forward, 1989, August, my dad took me to the Canadian National Exhibition in Toronto. We were having a great time, going on the rides, eating some specialty foods. And then we come across a building, and I'd asked my dad, can we go in? And he was a little bit grumpy. So he said, no, let's keep walking. So I kind of stood at the building and said, okay, bye, I'm going in, see ya. And he turned around and went, oh. So we came back, we went into the building, and we were greeted by a man in uniform. And he said, would you like your photo taken? My dad said, no, not at this time. And I screamed, yes. We ended up having our photo. My dad, not so thrilled because he had to pay for the photo. I'm not sure how much, but he wasn't too excited. I felt like I'd won the lottery. 10 years after I had that photo, I gave my oath on the Bible to the Queen, Her Majesty, and was going to serve in the Canadian Armed Forces Navy. Upon my oath, I went on to Saint Jean, Quebec for 9 weeks of hard mental and physical training. I successfully graduated with 2 honors, top marksmanship, and the most cheerful platoon member. I had like the Esprit de Corps award. I got 2 awards. Once I graduated, I got transferred to British Columbia, Victoria, BC, which is a Navy base. Again, once I arrived there, I had another 3-4 months of mental and physical training, but to learn how to be a sailor. Once I finished that, 6 months later, 6 months after the 9/11 attacks, I was at the last minute, I think maybe 48 hours notice, I was told I was being deployed to Afghanistan. I'd never deployed. I'd never sailed. My first time away from being away from my parents. Did the deployment. I got severely injured, felt really discouraged, homesick. I persevered and continued on my trip for 11 and a half months, a year. Come back to Canada, continued on with my career sailing here and there. In the times that I was away from home, there were times where I felt I couldn't go on, I couldn't move on, but I did. I reached out to colleagues that said, you got this, and I tried to push through. Even in the base in Victoria, BC, I was really homesick. I've never been away from home, but my parents supported me and encouraged me, and I found ways to help myself and others. Um, it's in those moments where you feel, sad and lonely, where you just keep on going, try to make the best of it, see the positive in the bad. I often resorted to self affirmations every day to keep myself going on during the deployment, to cheer myself up and offer that to my coworkers. If there's ever a time where you're sad, I encourage people to think of like a happy moment and, you know, really rely on trying to do positive affirmations. Yes, I got this. Yes, you can do this. You're fabulous today. Try saying it to someone else. Try cheering someone else. That often, a lot of my coworkers struggled with sadness, depression, and I've offered a lot of help through my own experiences serving in the military, a lot of peer support. Um, if you have a dream, you can totally achieve it. At 6, I didn't think I was joining the military, but I ended up doing it. Seeing a pavilion and a display with military informations and artifacts that got my interest. And 10 years after, I had a simple photo with my dad. I joined and did over 10 years. And I'm so proud that I served. I'm so proud to have met so many people all over the world and colleagues that I've worked with. Um, my parents are my biggest fans, my biggest support. I learned that from them, and I offer that to people that I do presentations to, schools that have gone on and were successful in paying it forward or doing other things within their organization. If you know anyone that is interested in hearing my story, please give them my name and number. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Meera. And,
Thank you.
you're welcome. I know there's a lot of stuff you can't tell us from overseas, but, maybe can you mention to us like how you felt when the Ukraine war started or when the Hamas um, situation happened in Gaza?
Um, I During my deployment, I had seen some graphic things. So when I saw the stuff in Ukraine and Israel, Gaza, I do suffer with traumatic brain injury from an accident that I had suffered, and I have PTSD. So seeing any of those things on TV would trigger me. I'd have night terrors where I can't sleep. During the day, I'm fine where I keep busy, but at nighttime, I'm okay now because I found other outlets in my personal life to keep busy. I'm an athlete, so I do long distance running. So the running helps quite a lot to control like the anxiety and any stress that I have seeing those troubled countries.
And so, can you tell us about the Invictus Games? And, like, what is it, first of all? What's the purpose? And then, how were you involved with it?
So the Invictus Games is an organization that was created by Prince Harry, who also served in Afghanistan. So he was in the action, seeing everything. And he had seen a lot of soldiers get injured in the line of duty. with the military. We're very physically active, healthy, and when you suffer an illness or injury and you can't do your job, it's like someone taking air away from you. So Invictus Games was planted, and what Invictus Games does is it helps currently serving members and veterans that have some sort of illness or injury. And the philosophy is sports through recovery. So it doesn't matter if you've lost an arm or a leg, everyone can still participate in a sport with other limitations or modifications. So it's a platform that Invictus Games Foundation has, and we all, like 19 Commonwealth countries, nations, we all support each other. There's events that some athletes participate in. Like right now, it's the first time ever in history. The Invictus Games are in Whistler, BC, with the Winter Games. So there's a bunch of about 19 nations in Whistler, BC, competing in winter sports for the first time ever in their life, which is amazing. So it's like the camaraderie, the support. It's not so much about competition, it's more just the camaraderie, cheering each other on, supporting each other. I am a moderator and I do peer support for Team Canada.
That's fantastic. Yeah, thank you so much, Mira, and thank you for your service. So, yeah, it's good to hear they have this type of organization that's there to help, the injured soldiers and even, current soldiers. And I think the other thing is, besides the encouragement and things like that, I think the other takeaway is that to having that goal, right? Having that goal, you can say, okay, I want to go to the Invictus Games. I want to do really well. So it's also something that, and everyone can take part of that, right? Whatever is going on in your life, if you just kind of focus on your goal and then kind of let everything else go away, it can really help you as well deal with whatever you're dealing with, right? Or again, just make yourself happy, by doing that. And so I'm really happy that you're able to do that. And so can you tell us about some of the feedback you got from people after you gave your presentation at the Invictus Games?
Yes, so I had presented to about maybe 1,000 athletes from 19 different nations, and I shared my story. They after had come up and said, "Thank you for your service. You really inspired me. I was not in a good place, sad, depressed." And a lot of them have gone on to ask, "I'd like to participate in a specific sport." They got some funding, and now have gone on to compete all over the world.
Nice. And so
Yeah.
what did the people tell you after you gave your story?
They were just inspired. They were just in a low place. They didn't think that they could, after the service achieve anything, or they had lost hope. And I said, no, there's many things you can do. There's this Invictus platform where there's, sporting events all over the world. There's trips like endeavors, like week-long trips that you can also participate. And a lot of them are very hesitant, nervous, shy to do that. And then I have offered peer support and encouragement. I went and done the same thing and shared my experience of going to Nepal, my long distance running. And then a lot of them have said, oh, I've coached them. So some like to row. So I encourage them on rowing. I would hop onto a rowing machine and show them or say, how about trying it this way or do it this way or ask for help in the gym. So yeah, just a lot of positive feedback and just encouraging them, and then opening my email for them to contact me if they ever needed support and encouragement. I'm always there for them.
Well, thank you so much, Mira. And I know you're really a selfless person. You're always giving, but I just want to also give you some credit as well that people have, reached out to you and thank you for your presentations and told them how much you inspired you. So that's great that you're going the extra mile. Not only do you serve our country, but you're still continuing to pay it forward. And I'm really proud to have you here today. So thank you for
Thank you for
coming.
having me. Yeah,
You're
thank you for
welcome.
having me.
You're welcome.